Life is Ace, an Asexuality deep dive, which Nerd Night actually helped me with the title because I couldn't think of a good pun. And it turned out that my stage name is Ace for when I do burlesque, which is also strange, doing burlesque while living a life that implies you don't have sex. Before we start, we are going to be talking about sexual situations and mental health abuse, and crappy stuff that people have said to asexual people might be a little bothersome. If you need to take a break, go take a break. So who am I? I'm Harrison, also known as Hark, Levans, and my stage name is Ace MacGuffin, and I am a demisexual, which we'll get into the definition later. I am under the asexual umbrella. So how did I find out about this? Growing up, I felt really weird. Everybody was talking about sex. I was like, why are you guys talking about this? Why can't we talk about like school or anime? I'm really into Dragon Ball Z. That was how I got there. And pop culture was always like, you're watching these sitcoms on TV, and even these kids in high school are talking about having sex. It was so weird to me. Like, people, turns out they were flirting with me. I thought they were just being nice. And I was on Tumblr, and I fit that stereotype, where I found my sexuality on Tumblr. And I found these really pretty flags. The top one, oops, I broke it. The top one is demisexual specifically. The bottom one is asexual. And the diagonal triangle, it's for showing that it's kind of in the sexuality, which is the purple part, but kind of not. Instead of completely separate, like the black bar of the asexual flag.
Come on.
So what is asexuality? Asexuality is an absence of sexual attraction or a reduced or lack of interest. So it's an allosexual is you're attracted to others. Allo means other. And that's just to kind of help normalize asexuality. Like you would use partner instead of husband or wife. Just to try to reduce the stereotypes. So the asexual umbrella, you have a bunch of different kinds. Gray asexual, also shortened to grace, which I thought was kind of cool. But that's where you're not quite completely asexual, where you're just completely against sex, any of that, don't want to touch it. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not entirely sure why. Demisexual literally means half, so you're halfway in between. It requires an emotional connection before you can form that sexual attraction. And queer platonic is, we probably experience things like this, especially pop culture. So adult girls, they're in for platonic relationship. They're not having sex with each other, and they're completely spending their entire lives together. And that's what queer platonic relationship is. It's just putting an specific goal on that, and it's usually using fast days. So history with sexuality here. This is new. Never heard of this before. I'll read it up. It's on NITE. So in 1896, there was an about called psychologist, who's something interesting. He did anesthesia sexualis, and it was kind of in the mental health problem documentation, or saying something was wrong with this person, they didn't experience sex. And they weren't interested at all. And in 1907, Reverend Carl Schlegel, I don't know how to pronounce that, he advocates that homosexuals, heterosexuals, bisexuals, and asexuals, while advocating toward gay rights in the early 1900s. In 1948, Kinsey's Day, most people have heard of, they're somewhere between 1 and 6. There are people complaining about sexual behaviors. He just said, you guys are weird, you're casual hangs.
2001, Asexual Disability and Education Network, ADEN, was founded. And the founder spent some time on TV shows trying to get knowledge around. Dr. Carlson was actually more friendly to him than to people from the Indian English. He really scarred him.
And in 2013, the DSM-5, which is what mental health professionals use to diagnose mental health issues, finally categorized asexuality as not a mental illness. It's called hyposexual disorder, and that's you're not interested in sex, but it bothers you. Like you feel that this is a problem, and you need to have it treated. They finally put in a little sentence saying, some people just aren't into that, and that's okay. Common responses, so that's abstinence or chastity. That implies a choice. This is not a choice. Like, when did you guys decide you were into boys or girls? Like, it's not you just never thought about it. It just is the thing you are. Have you seen a doctor? You haven't met the right person. A lot of these things kind of show it as a problem. Again, it's not a choice. Studies have shown that it's as stable as any other sexuality. It's unrelated to medical issues, social pressure, or religion. And aceness is completely unrelated to the amount of or ability to have sex. Because some people say, you've had sex, you've been interested in girls, you can't be that. Ace people have sex. Some of them like it. There's 3 different terms: sex repulsed, sex neutral, and sex favorable. Repulsed is the stereotype you're thinking, where the person would be, ew, sex, I don't want to touch it. They don't want to do it. They're not telling you it's wrong. You're okay to have sex, they just don't want it. Sex neutral, they don't care. They'll do it if you want, I guess. And sex favorable, there's a lot of different reasons why they may want to do it, but it's not the reason for attraction. For example, I'm pretty sex favorable. That's because I enjoy the closeness with my partner, and I'm making them happy. I like that part. The physical part, it's whatever. So we have the split attraction model. That's where demisexuality and asexuality really differ from your regular idea of sexuality. We already use the ideas of separating different kinds of love. And so we have like the ancient Greeks. They had agape, eros, philia, storge, xenia. I probably mispronounced those. But they're all different forms of love. Agape is commonly used with Christianity. It's God's love for everybody. Eros is a romantic love, but Eros can also is documented as developing into a recognizing the beauty inside the person as opposed to their outside beauty. So the split attraction model says different types of attraction exist. There's different reasons why you would want to partner with somebody. Most people think sexual. You love at first sight. They're thinking, I see that person, I want to bone them. But there's also romantic. That's kind of the long-term living. Sensual is physical without actual sex. You get into like cuddling. It's kind of hard to separate. Aesthetic is, that person looks really nice. I would like to get to know them. There may be other kinds. For example, when I see somebody who looks really interesting, I'm like, I want to dance with them. I really like dancing. So what do you like? Asexuality and demisexuality doesn't list like, oh, you like boys or girls? Their romantic attraction, it can be just as varied as sexuality. You have hetero, homo, bi, pan, etc. It's depending on your personal preference, honestly. There is also aromantic. It is not aromatic, which is a common misspelling of it. I don't know as much as that because I am not that, so I haven't read as much about it. But it's the exact same thing as asexual. It just applies to romantic connection as opposed to just sexuality. So why do you guys need to know about this? Why am I talking to you? Love doesn't equal sex. At some point, something might not work. You might not be able to have sex. So you need to recognize the different types of attraction and why this person might still be worth keeping around. It can help you better understand your partner, just understanding that there's different kinds and ways to love a person. And there's different ways to show appreciation. I recently learned that the words of affirmation, that was made by a very problematic person, but we all have that idea in our head. There's different ways to show that you love a person. And knowing about this, I was almost 30 when I found out about this word, and I felt so alone. Pop culture was telling me I should be thinking something completely different about love, and learning this information might help you better understand yourself or others, and that might make you feel less alone. It was great to know that people were different in the same way as me, that there was a name for it. And what I really want you all to take home, no matter how much sex you have, how much sex you're into, we are all worthy of love. Love as hard as you can and as much as you can. And here are the resources for further information. There's a whole bunch of things. There's pop culture representation. And I have to plug, I raise money for the Children's Hospital. If you, I'm almost at $10,000 lifetime total. So if you want to do that,
Let's go!
help me out. But also, we play games to help kids. I raise money playing Dungeons and Dragons. Also, be careful of those asexuals. I hear they don't fuck around.